you've tuned into the GFree and Happy show. Tonight, we are talking about living with celiac disease with Kai and Kathleen with glutenlibre.com. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome to the GFree and Happy show that happens every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Kathy, and I have been GFree and Happy for 5 years and counting. Tonight's a special night, like every Monday night, but tonight I have Kathleen and Kai, mom and son, talking all about their celiac lifestyle. They're both diagnosed with celiac. It's been a year or two. We have to find out about when Kathleen was diagnosed and when Kai was. We're going to hear about their updates and tips for getting screened for celiac, because it's going to be Celiac Awareness Month in a few days. The month of May is Celiac Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking to them in just a few minutes. But first, episode 71 of the GFree and Happy show is brought to you by mesadevita.com. Menus by Mesa DeVita help you bring more life to your table. Chef-designed gluten-free recipes, menus, and online cooking classes to help you save time, save money, and make you a healthy kitchen rock star. I've used Chef Kirsten's recipes for a few years now, and I am thrilled that she's sponsoring my shows. So let's get going with our guests tonight, because we have so much to cover. They have so much information they want to share with all of you. So let's welcome Kathleen and Kai. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So nice to have you guys on my show, because for one thing, you are in my favorite place on earth. Well, close to it. Santa Barbara is where I love. And you're like, what, 5 minutes away?
No, actually, we're in Ventura, so we're about 45 minutes away from Santa Barbara, or half an hour. Yeah, it takes about half an hour to get there. But Brian works up there.
Yeah, that's true. That's where I see I love his pictures. Everybody should be following you guys on Instagram too. So let's talk about next month. In fact, just in a few days is Celiac Awareness Month. And I wanted to have both of you on because I see you guys update everything on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, talking about your daily life and how you all are doing. And I also think you have a nice happy attitude about being celiac, because it can be a real pain in the butt to deal with some of the things you deal with. And on the screen right now, we have your website that says learn about celiac disease and other gluten issues. And you have the Peter Green book too, highlighted on that. And Kathleen, tell me first, by the way, you love Peter Green, right? I mean,
do.
this book.
I do, and Dr. Fasano too. So, they are great.
Let's talk about on your site real fast, gluten or not gluten. Let's talk about celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease, and is really important to be tested for this, because having an autoimmune disease, if you don't know you have it, you can get really ill and then not get diagnosed, not right and stuff like that, going through the issues that you've all been through. Tell us, in your words, in how it happened with you guys, how you were screened, or how'd you find out, you, first of all, Kathleen, how you were tested for celiac?
Well, because it's genetic. And I have two other autoimmune diseases. I have rheumatoid arthritis and hypothyroid.
Wait a minute now. So did you know about those two before you were?
I did. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when I was 24 years old. And then hypothyroid when I was 42. And it was right after I had to have a hysterectomy. So
that is like classic stuff too. It says in the books too, on how you kind of figure out that your celiac is from having those two issues right there.
Right. And because when I was diagnosed with RA, I was going to the doctor, and I'm 24. Why am I feeling achy and swollen, and all those things? And he did. I got tested for it, and then I had to start going to see a rheumatologist, and from there on being treated for that. Well, then the hypothyroid. I take the thyroid pill every day. That was 20 years later. And then celiac was almost 2 years ago now.
Now, did Kai was he diagnosed first, and then you said, maybe I have that?
Yes, because he was really, really sick with it and everything, and we'll get to that after this, I guess. Yeah. But my nurse practitioner said, and I never ever thought to, and Ashley Bryan kept telling me, he's all, I know you have it. He's all, just looking at all the, the symptoms that you have, and all your issues with your stomach and your two autoimmune. He's all, he would always say that to me, and I kind of blew it off. And then my nurse practitioner said, you need to be tested for celiac disease. She's like, it's genetic, and your son has it, and you have these things going on. So we did, and I had the blood work done, and the levels for that were really high.
By the way, my husband would say, I told you so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He always goes, I'm right. See, I told you I'm always right. He's always right.
Okay, sorry. So go ahead with the story.
Oh, it's okay. And then endoscopy and celiac.
So you were able to have everything. You were still eating gluten, because that's a huge part of this, and that's why I was never tested, because I'm never going back to gluten.
Exactly. You won't get a correct diagnosis, so it wouldn't be. But if now for Kai, I'm kind of jumping around here.
It's fine.
He had, we both have the gene, we have the genetic testing, so that's a huge factor in it as well. But he was so sick and not thriving, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And when he was tested for the celiac, and the blood work came back in, and he was positive for it, the doctor that we had at the time told us to go gluten-free right away. And so he was already gluten-free before we could even get an endoscopy, because he said go gluten-free. He was gluten-free for like a month or two, and that's when I had the appointment with the pediatric gastroenterologist. So it was kind of too late, and we didn't want to do a gluten challenge because he was so much better, and he gets so sick from it. So he had the blood work and the gene test, but not the endo. But I had all the other.
Now, how do you find out? How do you ask the doctors for that? And was this a special, like the autoimmune disease doctor? Who was this that you went to?
Okay, this was our general practitioner did, and then he referred us to the specialists. But in the beginning was for Kai, it was the general or his pediatrician, and then the referrals to the specialists. For me, it was my general practitioner who did the blood work for everything, and then my nurse practitioner, and then she referred me to the specialist. So it was I didn't have to go to a bunch of specialists or anything first, and we were kind of lucky in that way, where the GP understood kind of what was going on and said, had us tested. He wasn't like, oh, it's not that, we're not going to test you. I know a lot of people have a problem with that, with their doctors not believing what they're feeling, or if they do their own research, the doctor doesn't want to test them, oh no, it can't be that, and they have to beg for a test, or say, or demand them, please give me, get me the test, So
yes, be your own advocate for sure. And so both of your tests came back positive. You have the gene, both of you. Did any of your other family members get tested for the gene?
No, but he had just the blood work, and it came back negative, because my nephew, my brother's son, has had issues with his digestion and constipation since he was, bad constipation, which is also a symptom of celiac, since he was a baby. And but they did have him tested for celiac, but they didn't go any farther than that. So, but we were talking actually the other day, and they are going to start going further because he just doesn't get better. So he'll be getting those tests as well. But as far as anyone else in my family, no. I'm pretty sure my mom had it.
Well, you were saying that the last time, because you've been a guest of our show for a few times now. Right. And that was very interesting too, because what did your mom have that you thought she had the gene too?
Well, she was diagnosed with IBS, and she had always had intestinal issues. She's very tiny, thin, small, had all kinds of other issues. The joint swelling, achiness, just all kinds of stuff that the doctor would say was other things. And her main issue would be her stomach, her irritable bowel. I mean, I remember her and my dad coming from dinner and going back to their house in Ojai. They'd always stop at my house because my mom would have to use the bathroom. And because it would just come right out of her. And just the way she ate, Brian and I would talk about the way she would eat. And it was almost like she was afraid to eat, because she was scared something was going to happen to her stomach. But even as a little girl, she was sick all the time. She was the tiniest one in her family. And now that we know what celiac is and we look back on that, I'm almost positive my mom had it. I mean, she had to have had celiac disease.
You're almost like the poster family for celiac disease. That's why I had to have you on too.
Well, and it's funny because we were going to have my mom died, and then my dad remarried, and when Booch, that's his nickname, Booch. Sorry, Booch. Kai, we don't call him Kai.
Mom.
When we were diagnosed with it, Sherry, his wife, would say, John, you should get tested, but he just died a few months ago, and he had cancer, so they didn't even bother, doing that because it was, what was the point?
I'm sorry about that.
Cancer, yeah, thanks. But and he said he saw I would if I wasn't dying. That's what he said.
Oh my gosh! But that is like the poster child of celiac disease within your family, I think. And so tell me about how sensitive you are to. I mean, since this has happened, how many years ago was this, by the way?
For me, or
yes, for you.
For me, it's only been almost 2 years.
So 2 years. Mm-hmm. How do you feel? And I know I am like sensitive to more foods. Are you feeling better? Do you have any of the symptoms you had before? And then what kind of foods can you tolerate? All foods except for gluten, of course.
Yeah, I can tolerate most foods. I'm not lactose intolerant or anything like that. And most things I can, which is good because that would be really hard on us. It's funny is, Brian, the other night and I can't believe after all this time, I would think all of us would be experts. He's more expert at it than we are. Thank God for him, because Kai and I would be glutened all the time. It was crazy. I had made some little steaks, and I had sprinkled it, I thought was with garlic salt that I had bought, and I didn't look at the label. One of my things that I've always advocating is read the labels. And Brian tasted it before I did, and he says, "This tastes like bread, like it's breaded. What'd you put on it?" And I said, "Well, garlic bread sprinkle or salt." But it was garlic bread sprinkle made in big black letters on the back. It said wheat. So, and I had done that before for Kai and made it. So that made us both sick. And I had gotten I get the DH, the dermatitis. I never knew how to pronounce it. The dermatitis, herpetitis on my elbows.
Oh yes, I was just reading to update myself on that, and I've had that too. If I have like sugar and things like that. But. Yeah,
and it was appearing on my elbows, and I couldn't figure it out, and I was accidentally glutening us. So
not a good thing.
No, and I I do notice it more. And I guess before I was just living with the symptoms, just not noticing, just going, oh, well, my stomach's upset, or this day I'm constipated, or this day I have, diarrhea or whatever, or this day my hands are super swollen, or my foot. I mean, at one point my feet would get like I was stung by a bee or something, from the gluten-free diet has helped my inflammation quite a bit. So I still get it. I still get it. Yeah, I still get it. And it still happens, and I'm still trying to control it, and maybe not try to take as much, try not to use medicine, but I still need it because I've had it for so long. So to control inflammation.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I've been trying the turmeric pills too that have helped a lot for me. So just telling you that one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now when you go to the restaurants, because celiac, some of my guests, if they inhale flour that's particles in the air, they have horrible reactions. So how do you guys go out as a family and enjoy yourselves and make sure that you're safe?
Well, we make sure we pick the restaurants that we know are safe, that we've been to a few times, and that are where the servers are always conscious of or know about the or not the allergies, the celiac or food allergies, peanut, whatever it is that somebody has wrong with them. And we usually just visit those restaurants all the time. I know it's a little limiting, but it's just the way it is when you have celiac. So we stick with just maybe a few restaurants in our area that we found are really safe and that have designated areas where they prepare the food so it doesn't get cross-contamination.
You want to name a couple? Because I've seen them on, and I know my family's gone to those. So go ahead and name a couple that you really love.
Wood Ranch, we go there a lot, and they are really good. The servers are so knowledgeable. They know about celiac disease. They understand that things can't be cooked together, and they suggest food that isn't cooked together for you, like a side or whatever, which I love because they actually suggest things that they know are completely safe for us to eat. California Pizza Kitchen has gluten-free pizzas, and it's totally it's certified by the gluten intolerance organization. Yeah, it's certified by them, and we went there the other day, and they were really good, and they put their little label on it. They only make like 3 or 4 different pizzas that are completely gluten-free and cooked in the designated area, but they're really good, and they're very knowledgeable. The servers are really sweet, and they encourage you to tell them your exact problem, what kind of food you're sensitive to. So if you're celiac, they encourage you to say, I'm celiac, or I have, peanut allergy, or I have, lactose intolerance, whatever it may be. They want you to state what it is. They want you to be specific, which is good. I've never actually seen that before at a restaurant.
No, I don't think I have. And Kai, while I got you out there, tell me some fast food. What's your favorite fast food as a kid? That's some of the things that kids love to do is go to fast food. So is there one safe for celiacs down there by Ventura?
Yeah, In-N-Out.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Darn it, I should have had a picture too. You have pictures on your website.
I do.
Yeah. So of course, and whenever I'm down there, I have to have my In-N-Out burger and French fries because they are super safe there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that's all they make is hamburgers and French fries, and then you get the protein style with no bread.
I know.
Actually, I like that better. I probably would eat that even if I didn't. So.
And then you get to devour all your fries too because you don't have the bun.
Exactly.
All right. So Kai, let's talk about you. See, I follow you guys religiously because I think it's so wonderful that you all are doing so well after being diagnosed. And Kai, you were really sick and you didn't get to go to school for a little bit. So give us some updates on what's going on with you now that you're kind of dealing with the celiac lifestyle. Tell us a little bit about your life going to school and what the challenges are too.
Just like all the food that's there. Just maybe sometimes I'll have to get hot lunch, and I'm not sure if it's safe or not. And but my mom usually packs lunch, so
That's hard for that's hard for him. Is if he forgets his lunch or something or.
Do you pack like protein bars or something too in his backpack?
He likes those. For a snack and. What else do I put in those tiger milk bars? He likes those.
So if you were to go to like the student store or whatever that there is, would you find anything in your school that's gluten-free to snack on?
Yeah, they have like Rice Krispie treats and all that.
It's junk.
Yeah.
It's
and chips and things like that.
It's gluten-free, but it's junk. And,
Gross.
It's always gross. But, it's if he's hungry and he can't get a hold of me for me to bring him something, it's like an alternative that he falls on, once in a blue moon. So. And
Kathleen, you've made the choice to be around your kids a lot, especially Kai right now. So you could do that. You can go to the school and help him out if he needs help, right?
Oh yeah. It's he just went back to school after being homeschooled for a year, trying to get him back to health again because we were so paranoid, about him eating at school and everything. So,
and Kai, do people make fun of you?
No.
Good. Because I've heard some bullying stories about that too, that kids make fun of you. Like Anti Wheat Girl was saying that people would go up to her with their hands with gluten on them and scare her. You don't have any of that, correct?
Yeah, people have better things to do than that.
Okay,
good. Thank you. That's good to hear. Because
he has nice friends that are actually his friends are really supportive. It's they're understanding of it, which is pretty cool. I even have a friend, his one friend that he's been friends with since kindergarten. His mom has a designated shelf in her house for Kai.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it's that part's been actually pretty good. There maybe a long time ago, maybe a little something, but it didn't even really relate to that. It was something else, and the food thing came into it. It was a little argument that he had, but that's about it. Nothing, he's not like outcast or they don't want to hang out with him because he can't eat what they eat.
Good. So. Now let's talk about that autoimmune system here that we have, or the immune part of it, going to school and going around all the germs when you're still fighting yourself, fighting to get better. How is that going at the school? Are you getting sick more? Have you noticed that you're not getting sick as much anymore?
I'm not. I don't really get sick anymore at all.
Well,
not really. Like I don't.
Do you do preventive things to make sure that you're getting, are you taking lots of supplements? Are you doing the Nutrisuma stuff? What is your daily routine to help you get healthier each day?
Your supplements, go ahead. No, I'm sorry, I talk for him a lot.
That's what moms do.
And you're just making sure that the main thing is making sure that he gets enough to eat, keeping the weight on him and that kind of a thing. For a while, because his immune system was so shot from being sick all the time, it was like taking forever for him to get some weight on. He was getting every flu, every cold, all the time, and he was absent all the time at school, and just now starting to get on track, but he has been a little tired lately, and more tired than lately. Like he took a long nap before we came on just now. He fell asleep on the couch. So we're having some new blood work and seeing maybe he might be deficient in something and see what's going on there. Maybe start going to the nutritionist again, that kind of thing.
Did the nutritionist help you too? Did she help your family?
Yeah, yes. It was a lot. And then we stopped going because I thought we kind of had it under control. So we might have to start that back up again because, you get busy and it's hard to really eat good.
Especially this time of year with all the sports and the nice weather. And so he's probably out and about more, and so are you.
Mm-hmm. And exactly, like, is it, do you find it harder when you're with your friends to find something to eat, or?
No, not really.
You're okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he won't eat. or he'll come starving, or you go to.
There's usually stuff I can eat now since I know more places.
Okay,
So it's not really hard.
So
to
you
eat.
know where you're going, and then of course they've got the parents with the nice cupboards full of food for Kai, which is nice to hear too.
And actually, a couple parents. Now that I think about it, like one parent that I talked to when Kai was spending the night, I had to make sure and tell him that he couldn't have it, and he said, "Oh, well, our housekeeper is gluten-free, so she has everything, that he has a lot of things they could eat." Yeah, so I was like, "Oh,
and
cool."
then of course I'm sure you bring your own treats too. I mean, I do. I bring still to this day.
Even when he goes to stay with my brother, I'll pack and his cousins. I'll pack him food to go, and because plus it's expensive.
Yeah,
and I
it
want
is.
them to have to buy the food if they don't have to, if it's here. It's expensive. So,
Good tip.
yeah.
Well, it was wonderful. If there's one thing you want to tell somebody tonight about your lifestyle, celiac lifestyle, and that it's coming up to be Celiac Awareness Month, what would that be?
That it's not so bad. It's not like once you find out what, for instance, in Kai's case, when we finally found out that it was celiac disease, it was a relief because we could fix it with diet. It wasn't, literally we thought he was dying of cancer or something. We thought he was dying. He was fading away. So when you find out and you think, oh my gosh, you just have to switch his diet and he'll get healthy again, you're like, phew, and then it's, it's confusing and hard in the beginning. It is, because you're so used to being able to just grab and eat and bread or whatever. But once I tell people this too, I say, once you, start getting into it, you actually start eating better, and and then it starts to get kind of fun. Like Brian loves it. I think he likes it more than we do because he likes to cook new things or make things for us. And when Kai asks for something to eat, he jumps and makes it. He's kind of turned into our chef.
And he's trying all the gluten-free beers for you and all that good stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. He makes sure to do that.
Well, it was a treat to have you both on. I always like to hear how my guests are doing after a certain time. So where do we all find you?
Glutenlibre.com. And I'm at Gluten Libre Mom on Twitter and Instagram. And then could we give a quick shout out to Atherton Baking Company? They're doing a Kickstart. They're going to be I think they're going to be starting their business. They're going to start getting their baked goods out there. So they're going to do
look amazing.
Yeah, I know. Brian's, I'll give the Athertons a shout out. So I said, oh yeah.
Thank you for doing that. I need to have them on the show. I haven't had them on the show yet. They have a story too.
Yes, Jimmy and Kim and I think their other daughter are all celiac. There's 3 of them in that family.
Oh, well, thank you. Maybe because you and I will be doing some fun things here soon, so we'll talk about having her on the show and with maybe the whole family.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh,
okay.
Gosh.
All right. So thank you both again. Kai, you can go out and play or do whatever you need to do. And Kathleen, I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you again, both of you.
Okay. Thanks, Kath. Bye.
Bye. So everybody check out glutenlibre.com. Also start following everybody that has anything to do with gluten-free or celiac on social media. Next month is a big month. May is Celiac Awareness Month. So until next week, have a great GFree and Happy week.